Hi and welcome to my Playhouse. And today I'm at work. I'm at a data center and I am transporting some servers down here today because we have purchased new servers for our VMware system and a couple of backup servers, loose servers. So I've actually transported 9 servers down to this data center, which brought my car at the present time to a value of 2.26 million Danish kroners. I calculated that, that's about $360,000. So that was an expensive car for a little bit. But right behind me here on the table, I have the new HP, and it's the DL380 Gen10. And it's still in plastic and bags and everything. So I thought that we should together put in all the loose stuff and have a look inside. This server is going to be used as a backup server of some kind. The backup department has been wanting one of these for a bit. So I have actually purchased this one for them. I'm a Lenovo fan, but my boss says that we are buying HP servers and have to do what the boss says. But as I usually say, HP stands for hardware problems. But well, bosses don't listen, do they now? So bosses aside, let's go see the boss at the table. So, okay, this is more or less what you get with a brand new HP server. I'm missing one part. It also comes with a couple of power plugs. I don't think that's important. Let's get the out of the way. So here we have some paperwork. Let's just see what comes with it. We have an HPE hot plug AC power supply installation instruction. This server is a built to order server. That means that it has been built to our specifications, what we wanted, in Czechoslovakia. And it has been transported up here by carrier. Another one, so it has 2 power supplies apparently. Then we have setup instructions. Start here setting up information for the HPE ProLiant DL380 Gen10 server. Awesome. Yeah, something about the Wi-Fi BIOS. Something on where to get the newest Wi-Fi BIOS, and you probably need that with all the Intel problems we are having right now with the meltdown and with the Intel problems that we have lately. So we have read first. This is for the fiber optic channel bus adapters that are in there. There are actually 6 of those. This is a backup server, so it needs a lot of access to the SAN. Then we have some safety blah blah blah. A bag for that. Then we have the arm, cable management arm that goes behind the server. I'm not gonna mount this today, so we'll keep this in the bag. In this bag, everything was neatly put in a box, of course. To fit 9 servers in my car, I had to take them out of the box. Then there is for the fiber optic cards, there are these FSPs, and these are 16 gigabits FSP pluses. 16 gigabits. That's fairly fast. Then we have the rails. These are really nicely put in here. I don't want to take them out of their standard HP rails. I do not believe that they have made any changes for the generator. They're as crappy as always. So let's open up, get inside. Oh, and we have a big bag of this awesome stuff that tastes really well. It says that you should not eat it. It actually doesn't say that. But don't eat it. Then we have the big bag. So here is the front of the server, and it's really dull. There's almost nothing of interest here. This part over here is a bit more interesting. We have room for a lot of hard drives. You can take these out and you can put in more hard drives. I have gotten this one with 3 hard drives, and these are, well, it's not off, so we could just pop them out. It's 240 gigabyte SSDs, and there's SATA drives. It's this is just for booting, so this was more or less the cheapest SSD that you could get. It wasn't expensive. The expensive part of this server is the CPUs. It has 2 of the new Intel Scalable CPUs in there, and there are 16 cores, 3 gigahertz. I do not remember the number of that, but we'll get to that. Otherwise, we have room for 8 hard drives. I've talked about this in multiple videos. This is the normal thing for a server to come with 8 hard drives, and then you can expand it 1 or 2 more of these slots here. Otherwise, we have power on button. We have a UID, that's the blue button. When you press it, the server will light up blue on the back, so you can find this server in a rack. Then we have the activity health indicator. We have an activity on the network indicator. We have a USB 3 port. We have the SID, which is kind of a small control panel. If we have a problem with the server, something will light up here. The server has 2 CPUs. It has 4, network cards. So we can see the network activity there. We have some more very small text right here. We have PCI riser, over temperature, ambient temperature, power cap, the 2 CPUs, 24 DIMMs, and 6 fans. So if there is any problem with any of those components, well, there's a little LED here that will light up and tell us where we should look for our error. Then we have the information sticker with the serial number and the ILO adapter password. And this release button to get it out of the rack. So the front of the server wasn't really that interesting, but the back of the server, we have a lot of stuff going on here. So let's see what we have. This server comes with 6 extension ports, 6 PCI Express ports coming out the back. And we have filled all of these up with HBAs for connecting to the SAN. And we're gonna be putting something in those FSPs here. Then we have 2 10 gigabit connectors down here for connecting to the network. We have the UID, the LED that lights up really brightly when you press the button in front of the server. We have 2 USB ports, awesome. We have the connection for the ILO adapter. We have 4 1 gigabit network ports right there. That comes as a standard with the server, and they're on the system board. I hope we'll see that when we get in there. Then we have the VGA connection. We did not have that on the front. Did you notice that? They have removed that. Then we have 2 power supplies over here, and they're 800 watts each. So funny little tiny form factor here. 800 watts. They say that they are 94% efficient. That's pretty good. It also says that it's an 80 plus platinum, and that's also very efficient. So it's not bad. Compared to older power supplies, this is really good. Redundant power supplies, in all professional data centers, you always have that. Funny enough, it starts with power supply 1 and then power supply 2. The server weighs something between 16 kilograms and 36 kilograms. And that is here for the Americans. And you need 2 people to carry this. Guess the Viking instructions is different, because in front of the server we have a sticker here, and it very clearly says that Hewlett Packard Enterprise is made in the Czech Republic, and it has some model numbers and all the certificates. Power consumption, this is from 100 to 240 volts, 50 or 60 hertz, and there is something in Chinese. I will have you look at that. Over here we have the serial number and the ILO password and stuff. Let's open it up. It has an opening mechanism on top, and it has a little screw there, so you can actually turn that, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to open it up. Not much of a security issue, but well, you have to have a screwdriver to when you use your screwdriver, you know that you're doing something that you might not be authorized to. So, oh, this is sparsome. So on the back of the lid here we have different information. First it tells us what kind of a server we're looking at. Then we have a schematic of the system board down there with a lot of numbers on, and we can go over here and see what the different stuff is, which is really nice because you don't always know what that plug is. Number 13, that's a drive backplane power connector. Okay, so we know what that is. It has some system management switches, dim population order, and this is kind of irritating. It just says to go to the website. There's a lot of room down here for more information if they wanted to put that on there. Then over here we have the different servers that are available. We are looking at this one where you can see that this one has all the drive bay available. Then we have the back office server. This is more or less what we are looking at. Then they have another one where you can actually put in 6 hard drives in the back of the server as well. Still being able to put in a couple of PCI Express ports, and the Lum down here. The Lum is the flexible Lum connector, which is it can be a network card, it can be an HPA for the SAN. Then they have an option for, so you can put in 3 graphics cards inside of the server. Some of the big beefy ones, you need another riser card. They call it a butterfly riser with 3 GPUs support, and that's optional, it doesn't come standard. Then there is information of what these different things are on the server, that's here. And then there is information about how the front LEDs work when they're showing different colors. Green, amber, solid amber. Okay, if something is wrong with the server, that's probably a good place to start looking. Okay, so here is the inside of the server, and over here the disk base. There is really a lot of room here where there is missing disks because they're not in use. The backplane of the 8 drives are here, connected with 2 SAS connectors, regular internal SAS connectors, and there is a power connector for the backplane. This is actually more simple than in the Lenovo servers that I have been looking at, so that's okay. Then we have a fan assembly that we can very quickly remove if we want that. It's on a thing here, metal, it has its own. So blue connectors, you have to turn off the server to do anything with a blue connector. These red connectors, well, they are hot pluggable, so you can replace a single fan without turning off the server. So let's put this back in. Then we have a cover here that covers the CPU and the RAM. Oops. I would have expected bigger heat sinks than this for this CPU, so that's a thing. But underneath here are the 2 Intel Scalable CPUs, and the new Scalable lineup of CPUs goes, well, there's a big range of, it's all the way from the very smallest CPUs and all the way up to platinum, and these are gold CPUs. So they're the 6000 something series. I really forget what CPUs that are in there. I just remember there are 16 cores and they're 3 gigahertz. I don't remember the number. I'll be sure to put that in. Let's get a memory block out of here. See what memory we have. It's a Samsung, and this one is a 32 gigabyte, 2666 megahertz. Pretty cool. Oh, here it's HP branded, so it's a Samsung block, but HP. 24 slots for memory in here, so 24 blocks of 32 gigabytes. Well, it adds up. That's actually a lot of RAM. I believe that is 768 gigabytes, so very nice. RAID controller is down here. The RAID controller is mounted down here on the system board with a couple of cables that goes up in front to the back plane. And there is also a battery up here. I'm hoping that the battery is connected to this. That would be where I wanted a battery, but it seems that there is not a cable for it. It must be going through the system board and up to the battery. 2 riser cards, of course. When you need this many HBAs, well, you need 2 riser cards. So we could just remove one of the riser cards. There's a weird system here. You You put this up and you turn it half, you can pop this out. So here is the riser. This one is equipped with, you can kind of see that here, it has two PCI Express 8s and it has a PCI Express 16 in the middle, and something new. So if we look in here, they have hidden away an M.2 slot down here for an NVMe drive, and if we turn it around to the back, we will see that there is another one. So in this riser card we can put in two NVMe M.2 drives. Not bad. So I'm curious if that's also available on the other slot here. So let's see that. Here. We do not have one on this slot. Do we have one hidden? We don't have one either here. So only the first riser card has that availability. I'm guessing that that's something you pay extra for, and it's available on the first riser. But when you buy a second riser, well, if you want more M.2 slots, well, you have to buy those extra. That's my guess. Now that we have everything out of here, we can see some more down here. There's nothing really interesting over here, except we have a riser card here. You see, we have this long one, which is for this one. And then we have a shorter one, which I'm guessing is for a riser card to go over here if we want that third GPU installed. So yeah, that's a thing. Otherwise, we have the network connections down here. We have the chips that control that. Looks like it's Broadcom. Let's put this back in. So down here we have the flexible Lum Card. Server manufacturers has this, and they are starting to look like the same cards. I have seen the Lum cards or the Marseline cards for the Lenovo servers as well, and they look very similar. This one is for two 10 gigabit output ports, but the idea is that you get this card a little bit cheaper because, well, it can't be used for anything else, so it doesn't compete with anyone else. So I'm not sure what brand this is, but whatever company produces these can produce these cheaper for the HP server, because they can only be used for this HP server, which is not entirely true, because you can kind of take it out and put it in somewhere else. But yeah, the idea is that you get a cheaper card by occupying it down here. Plus you do not use one of the spaces in the riser cards, so it's very nicely tucked away down here. Also over here we have some SAS connectors. We actually have 3 SAS connectors on this system. That's more than we usually get. We have chosen to get a separate RAID controller in here, but if you don't select that, well, it has a built-in RAID controller. I'm guessing it's underneath this heatsink, so you can use these 3 ports. Actually, these 2 wires will just go in there instead, probably 1 and 2. Number 3, don't know what that is aimed for, but well, that's there too. Also, there is a couple of SAS connectors down here. We have a SAS connector here, single SAS, port 4 and port 5. This one both have SAS and power. So 2 SAS connectors there, awesome. If we're not going to be using the M.2 boot devices, we have the option of booting from USB here, or we can put in a micro SD card right there. Another power connector for the GPU right there. That's probably for the GPU that can be placed up here with the special riser card, the butterfly one. Then we have a intruder something thingy here for high security. You can put something in there. That tiny little connector there, and on the back of the cover for the server it says 12, and it says chassis intrusion detector connector. So probably some kind of a switch, so that if the cover has been off, the server will know, I know what you did. So this is processor number 1, and this is processor number 2. Then they have their RAM. Processor number 1 had 6 slots of RAM right here, and 6 slots of RAM right here, and then processor number 2 have these 6 slots and these 6 slots. This processor has 6 memory channels. That means that to be in balance, you need the processor to have 1 memory bank in each of the 6 channels, which means that you need to put in 6 blocks for each of the processor for it to run well. It can run with just 1 block, it will just not be in balance. If you then want to expand it for optimal performance, well, you have to put in 6 small blocks per processor. So really, for maximum performance, this server has to be half full or full of memory blocks. And you can kind of see it on the memory sockets here. They're white and black. So you put in the white ones first, and then if you want to expand it, you put in the black ones. That's for maximum performance. If you buy this as an entry level server, you will probably just have 1 or 2 blocks. If you buy 2 processors, you'll probably have 1 block over here and 1 block over there. That's how the server comes. And if you only buy this with 16 gigs of RAM, well, 1 block will probably suffice. It would be stupid to divide that 16 gigabyte and try and balance that, but you do lose some performance if you don't have a balanced system. Okay, so on the back we have to put in these FSPs, and I've already discovered that I've forgotten the FSPs for the network connections back at the company. So I'll have another lovely trip down here. So we're just gonna pop these in, and each of these cards has 2, so that's a total of 12 FSPs. Okay, that was a quick view at the HPE DL380 Generation 10, and as I said, this is going to be a backup server, and I actually have to go purchase half a petabyte of storage for this thing. It's going to be a 4U enclosure which holds 60 drives. We are only going to buy 50, but they're like 10 terabyte drives each, so half a petabyte of storage to this backup server, plus I'm putting in 13 more SSDs, and these are some rather big and expensive ones. I haven't bought it yet, but I have to go buy it. I have gotten the go ahead to buy that, and that's another $150,000 purchase, because it's not just this server that needs that kind of storage. It has a pal, it has a buddy, it has a brother, which is also getting the same amount, and this is a 4U storage box for an HP server, and it's going to be local storage and be connected through SAS connectors. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.